thank you for tuning into this episode of Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And I'm very excited about my first repeat guest here on the podcast. This is one of the artists who came early on and gave me a shot. Please welcome back Paige King Johnson. Paige, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing a lot better knowing that I'm your first repeat guest. I didn't know that.
Yes, you are my first repeat guest, and that's on the podcast because it doesn't count when I had music song premieres. But as far as the podcast, I'm glad to have you back on.
I feel honored. I'm so glad to be here. It's so good to see you again. It's been a while. Well, it's been a very long time since we did a podcast, but I saw you in Nashville a little while back, and it's good to see you again.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of catching up to do because you've been very busy, and like you said, we did talk a little bit in Nashville, but since the last time on the podcast, I mean, so much has been happening with you. You got a brand new album out, Honky Tonk Heart, with new releases. You got married. You're getting ready to host a talent competition. I mean, I got a list of things on this paper that's just so long that you got going on. How do you handle all this stuff? Are you exhausted?
Yeah, I don't sleep.
You're a robot.
It's all fun stuff, and I mean, it keeps me going. Honestly, I dreamed ever since I was a little girl to be able to do music full time, and to be able to continue putting out music and continue to reach people through music. And on the hard days, I have to remind myself that this is what I prayed for, and this is what I have dreamed of for years and years, and that's what keeps me going. But I have a huge, very supportive team and very supportive family around me who also helps get the job done. So it's not all done by me, I promise.
Right. And that's good to always, kind of promote the people in the back ends of things because, yeah, it really does take a good support team to, to really do well. And you are definitely doing well. Tell me about this new album that you got out.
Well, Honky Tonk Heart has been a dream of mine, one of those many dreams of mine. I think every independent artist has a dream of that very first album that they can put out, the full length album that truly is their heart and soul. And this was that for me. There's some songs on here that are 3 years old, and it's been this whole passion project of mine in the making since 2019. And so not only to get these songs out and finally get them into ears other than mine and my mama's, but also to get these stories out, and even to look back on the project and see how I have grown as an artist and as a songwriter and as a woman and just a human in general. It's a really special thing, and I don't think everybody gets that chance to kind of really see themselves grow up and mature and go through life stuff in a tangible way like artists do, because we just sing about our feelings all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm grateful I get to do that. And it's really been a special thing, to go through that whole process and now to have those songs out and, getting feedback from people and seeing people loving on those songs of mine and connecting with them. It's a really special thing.
Yeah, and it has, been great to, watch you progress and grow, and you're just doing awesome. But as you mentioned, some of those songs are older songs, but now you actually have a physical CD, right, to be able to give out.
Yes. It's such a cool thing. I had a CD for my first EP that I ever released back in, gosh, I think that was in 2019. And that was my first physical thing. So this was the second
Okay.
CD of mine that I've ever had, but the first full length album that I've ever had. And so it was a special thing to be able to get to experience that excitement again.
Yeah, there's just something about, having something physical. I mean, yeah, you can listen to it online and that's great, but for somebody like me who comes from the older generations and we went through, records and then 8 tracks and tapes, and there's just something about that. But along those lines, vinyl is making a comeback. Is that something that maybe we can see in the future with your album maybe coming out on vinyl?
I have had a lot of people ask that, and if people keep asking, then I guess I'm gonna have to give people what they want. There's always possibilities. At the moment, we haven't really worked on anything just because, believe it or not, with vinyl becoming so popular again, and it being such a process that the backup time, the back order time on getting albums and stuff like that processed is insane. And
Yeah.
um, that could be something in the future that we work on, maybe as like some sort of anniversary release kind of thing. You never know.
There you go. Well, you have to give me a heads up on that so I can be the first one to get it and brag
Oh,
to everybody that I have, Paige King Johnson on vinyl.
that's right.
And so, like I said, one of the big things that, happened is that, it was April 23rd, and here you are putting a ring on your finger, getting married. Tell me about that special day.
It's so sweet. Especially being a woman and, growing up as a little girl, you get told all the time, like your wedding day is one of the most special days of your life. You're going to be a beautiful bride, all this kind of stuff. And you hear that and you think, and you understand what people are saying, but it doesn't make sense until you are in those shoes and that day truly is here. And it makes it that much sweeter when you're with the right person, and you have family and friends around you who are supporting you and praying for you, and celebrating the beginning of this marriage. And so it was such a special day to get to spend with our friends and family from literally everywhere. I think we have people coming in from like 15 states to come in for
Wow.
our wedding, and to just get to celebrate and hug on people, especially, I mean, between a pandemic and me being a musician and traveling all the time, we don't get to hang out with our friends and our family who are, away very often. And so it was such a sweet ceremony in itself as us coming together as husband and wife, but also just getting to celebrate and be with our friends and family. It was a really special day.
Yeah, and that's great to hear because, as a photographer and videographer, I do a lot of weddings. And, it is great when I get to see that family come in and just have a good time. And, like you said, they may be coming from, who knows where, just for this. But then I also see those, where the bride is just so stressed out and they don't really get to enjoy that day. That wasn't you, correct?
No, it wasn't. People kept asking me, "Are you like leading up to the wedding? Are you stressed? Are you nervous? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "I'm really not, but y'all are kind of stressing me out, continuing to ask me this. Like, should I be stressed? Should I be worried? Because I'm not."
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you got to enjoy that, like I said, because it is something when, when we're recording the stuff that's going on, like we see the magic too. And so, I'm glad that you had a great day, and in honor of that, let's go ahead and play your song, Just Like You.
Ain't it just like a man to forget every birthday and leave you hanging on the line, wondering if he's gonna say I love you? Ain't it just like a man to show up late to the party, expecting you'll be ready to leave on his arm soon? But ain't it just like you coming in from a long, hard day, dirty hands wrapping around my waist? Baby, tell me what's happened since I left this morning. And ain't it just like you to be so patient, even when I'm driving make a mess of everything, falling apart to see how far you'll go to fix it. And ain't it just like me to ask you to up and leave your job and your mind for a new hometown just 'cause I'm in it? But ain't it just like you coming in from a long, hard day, dirty hands wrapping around my waist? Baby, tell me what's happened since I left this morning. And ain't it just like you to be so patient, even when I'm driving you crazy, to know what I want to say before I think a thing? Ain't it just like you to love a girl like me? Ain't it just like you to love a girl like me? And I hope the way you love me never changes, 'cause I've never felt anything like it, and I'll never find anyone just like you, coming in from a long, hard day, dirty hands wrapping around my waist. Baby, tell me what's happened since I left this morning. Just like you to be so patient, even when I'm driving you crazy, to know what I want to say before I think a thing. Ain't it just like you to love a girl like me? Ain't it just like you to love a girl like me?
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., and you just heard Just Like You by Paige King Johnson, which you can find on her latest album, Honky Tonk Heart. So, like I said, you had a lot going on, and one of the things that I got to witness was in Nashville, you got to play at the listening room. And my understanding is that was your first time, correct?
Yes, it was.
Tell us about that experience, because for those that don't know, the listening room is a little bit different than some other venues.
Just a tiny bit different than Broadway, that it's only 2 blocks away from. No, I mean, it was so special. I've lived in Nashville now for 7 years, and when I moved there, that was at the top of my dream venue list to play, right underneath the Ryman. And there's been so many of my heroes as songwriters and artists who have played on that stage. And so to be able to say that I have now been part of the performers on that stage, and especially gotten to share that with the Suffragettes group of ladies who are advocating for women in country music and all that kind of stuff, it was a really special night, and I will not forget it at all.
That's great, and you can see behind me, for those that are actually watching this on YouTube. If you're streaming it, check out the YouTube. But you got Paige King Johnson there in the background as one of my photos that are up there. And the next time I see you, I'm going to have to get that autograph, though.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about how that's that venue, or that show goes, as far as you're talking about the empowering of music female artists, that seems to be that they're still struggling as far as trying to get the credit that they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I never want to be, the mad woman who's just complaining all the time. I very much so pride myself on, working hard and fighting for what I think I deserve, and fighting for, just my space and my airspace. And my dad always told me that the squeaky wheel will get the grease. And so I've always been somebody who's going to fight and push and do anything in my power to make my dreams become reality, if I believe there's something worth fighting for. And so over the past few years, there kind of has been an imbalance in the representation of women, particularly in the country music genre. a lot of it being on radio, but, you know, there's still imbalances in touring rosters and even artists that are signed to labels and all this kind of stuff, which is a sad thing, considering that we do live in the year 2022. And especially considering that there's so many amazing women out there who are creating just as much good music as the other guys out there are. And I truly think that there is room in the genre and in the airwaves and in the, you know, on the tours and everything else for all of us to cohesively live together and, you know, continue to build each other up and continue to challenge each other and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm grateful for Song Suffragettes and everything that they're doing to kind of shine a spotlight, especially on the ladies who are killing it in Nashville in the songwriting community. And grateful to say that I'm part of them now.
Yeah. And, you know, part of that, and I'll just give a little bit of a hint, is that, you know, you're going to be singing Famous Enough later on. So, you know, keep tuning in so we can hear Paige sing that live here on Hank's Corner. But aside from that, I mean, you are involved in a lot of like positive things and you're out there. And one of the latest things that you're doing is with the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. That is a long thing to say, but tell us, you know, about being an ambassador. What is that all about?
Well, I grew up as a kid on a farm, riding horses and showing sheep and showing rabbits at all the county fairs and our state fair here in North Carolina. And I tell people all the time that the only thing in my life that has taken up more time than music is agriculture. And I'm grateful that I am now the first ever ambassador for the Department of Agriculture here in North Carolina. And it all kind of came to be in a very organic way, which just, you know, makes it all more sweeter to me. I spent many years in 4-H and then in FFA as a kid and learned so much stuff and made so many good friends. And I truly at the time didn't realize how much it was giving to me. And so at the beginning of the pandemic, I was back home in North Carolina and everybody was secluded, but still trying to find a way to make things work. And one of my local 4-H groups was holding an award ceremony via Zoom. And my old 4-H leader reached out to me and he was like, "Hey, I know this is a long shot, but we're doing a Zoom tonight and we're trying to make it special for the kids. And if you're home and you aren't out on the road, then if you just want to join and sing a couple songs, that'd be great." And I had zero anything else to do like all other artists. And so
why not?
I absolutely hopped on, and there were some members of the Department of Agriculture who were also there helping those kids celebrate. And so I was introduced to them that way, and just in a way of giving back to my old 4-H group and encouraging those kids. And so conversation started of initially just, you know, we're all about supporting and promoting products from North Carolina. And although you're not a crop or a product being served on a plate, you are a local product from North Carolina who's out there doing good in the world, and we want to support you. And so those conversations kind of then evolved into this new partnership with them. And I'm grateful for all the opportunities to get to meet new people and support our farmers and our farm families and our agribusinesses throughout the whole state, and continue to spread awareness and share the news about what they're doing.
Okay. And, you know, I think as part of it, if I'm not mistaken, is that, you know, the offshoot where you're, you know, doing this talent competition?
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we talk a little bit about that, I want to go ahead and play Homes in the Hometown. And when we come back, you can tell us a little bit about this talent competition.
Perfect.
The sun ain't even thought about rising, but if I hurry, I'll go ahead and get my 40-hour weekend. And it's only Wednesday, but it smells like rain. I've been prepping the field So I head to my 4x4 and get to work in that worn out seat. We don't quit when the sun goes down, we quit when the job gets done. We work where we live and live where we work and count our gifts, every single one. We break our backs, filling tables up to eat, cause we know it's got to be in sync. God made a farmer cause he knew he needed us around to feed the homes in the hometowns. Kinda crazy how we keep this big rock spinning on a few thousand acres, but this Carolina ground just keeps giving, and it never runs out, never breaks down. Might take its own time, but it's always got a little more left. Kinda like the farmers who spend our lives giving it our best. We don't quit when the sun goes down, we quit when the job gets done. We work where we live and live where we work and count our gifts, every single one. We break our backs, filling tables up to eat, cause we know it's got to be in sync. God made a farmer cause he knew he needed us around to feed the homes in the hometowns. It's more than just dirt on the plows or roots in the ground that we're passing down. It's a lifelong legacy of helping to feed every little small town. We don't quit when the sun goes down, we quit when the job gets done. We work where we live, live where we work and count our gifts, every single one. We break our backs, filling tables up to eat, cause we know it's got to be in sync. God made a farmer cause he knew he needed us around. Yeah, God made a farmer cause he knew he needed us around to feed the homes in the hometown. To feed the homes in the hometowns. To feed the homes in the hometowns.
And that was Homes in the Hometown by Paige King Johnson here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr., part of Hank Jr. Productions. So tell us a little bit about this talent competition that we alluded to.
Yes, so this is the first ever what we are calling North Carolina Ag Star, which is pretty much what we tell people. It's the North Carolina version of American Idol. We're going to be traveling throughout the whole state of North Carolina, looking for young singers and songwriters and artists that were just like me at one point, trying to find whatever that next step is for them in their career. And we're wanting to shine a light on that, and in the process continue to educate kids, these young kids, on the importance of agriculture and honestly just how big of a splash that agriculture in North Carolina is making, not only within our state but outside of the state lines in the entire country, and encouraging them that whether their dreams are to be a farmer or be some kind of agribusiness related industry, or if they want to be a singer or songwriter and move to Nashville, Tennessee, or wherever else, New York City, LA, to pursue those dreams, that their friends and their family back in North Carolina are completely supportive of that.
And that's great that you're doing that in many ways. Like you said, you're helping build them up and prepare them for, whatever it is that they may be dreaming after. But the whole agriculture thing, I had Stephanie Nash here on not too long ago. And, some of the stuff that she talked about is very important, for the rest of, America to hear, because it is such a vital system within the United States. And now that we're having a lot of trouble with, getting everything in the supply and all this other stuff that's going on, it really does show that, that our agriculture is even more important than it's ever been. So that's great that this is going to help, bring awareness to it. But is this something that we are going to be able to watch online maybe, or do we have to be in North Carolina to see that?
We are hoping to do some sort of, I'm not sure if it's going to be a live stream or if it will just be kind of like a video recap of everything, but there will definitely be some documentation of it, and hoping to be able to get it out, not only to share these talents that these kids are going to be bringing, but also to encourage other people and show them like, hey, the Department of Agriculture here in North Carolina, we're investing in these young kids and we believe in these young kids, and, hopefully to inspire that, outside of even our state lines.
That's great. Well, if you definitely start getting out there, you do a great job, with your social media. You're always kind of posting, but if it does get out there, please let me know so I can post it for everybody else to be able to see. And as you get bigger and bigger as far as your stardom is concerned, your latest song that you have out is Famous Enough, but that song is about bringing you back to the roots of something like this, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about the backstory on how you came about with Famous Enough?
So Famous Enough was actually sent to me by Pam Tillis. And I know we've kind of talked in the last video that we did about my history with Pam, but after working with her for a few years, and she's produced a couple of videos for me, I'm grateful that she's been a mentor and a friend of mine. And last summer, she knew I was working on some new music and prepping for now this new album that is out. And Famous Enough was sent to her by one of her friends, who coincidentally enough is also one of my songwriting friends as well too. And Terry Joe, not even knowing that I was in the process of looking for songs and cutting songs for an album, she just sent the song to Pam just to listen to. And Pam was working with me and helping me look for songs. And so she sent it to me, and I immediately was stopped in my tracks. And a lot of people don't know this, but it was the contender up against Baby Don't, which was my last single. But we were torn completely by these songs, but Baby Don't ended up winning out of that one. And Pam called me a couple of weeks later, and she was like, Paige, I just keep thinking about this Famous Enough song, and I think this song was made for you. And even though I was not a writer on this song, it truly is my story, up one side and down the other. And it's crazy to think that kind of magic happens every single day in a writing room. But it did. And I love this song and everything that it stands for, the message that it sends out. And I'm grateful that I get to call it mine.
All right. And would you mind playing it for us here on Hank's Corner tonight?
Absolutely. I haven't played it on a podcast, at least recently.
Right.
I don't think it's been a while since I have, so y'all are getting an exclusive.
We definitely appreciate that.
I was singing into my hairbrush under a ceiling fan spotlight, dancing to Loretta, wishing I could live that life. Fast forward through a couple of wins and a whole lot of losing, I'm still standing here in front of all y'all, trying to do this. But as long as somebody shows up, I'm famous enough. If one of my songs made somebody cry, somebody dance, if I can't look at myself in the mirror, recognize who I am. If mama still believes in me, and dad's still bragging round town, and if I'm in your arms when the sun goes down, if you smile at me when I wake up, I'm famous enough.
Don't get me wrong, I'm still working towards sold out stadium shows, meet and greets, late night TV, and red carpet designer clothes. But if Jesus knows who I am, every time I send one up, I'm famous enough. If one of my songs makes somebody laugh, somebody cry, somebody dance, if I can look at myself in the mirror, recognize who I am. If mama still believes in me, and dad's still bragging round town, if I'm in your arms when the sun goes down, if you smile at me when I wake up, yeah, I'm famous enough. Oh, I'm famous enough. Oh, in my platinum years, if we've still got an iconic kind of love. If one of my songs made somebody laugh, somebody cry, somebody dance, if I can look at myself in the mirror, recognize who I am. If mama still believes in me, and dad still bragging around town, if I'm in your arms when the sun goes down, if you smile at me when I wake up, I'm famous enough. Oh, I'm famous enough. Yeah, I'm famous enough.
And everybody, that's Paige King Johnson singing Famous Enough, her most recent single, and it's definitely a treat to hear it. But how cool is it just to have, Pam Tillis say, "Here, here's this song, here's that song." I mean, that's awesome in itself, right?
It is, and I pinch myself most days whenever I see Pam's name pop up on my phone, because I grew up as a kid, sitting in front of the TV eating Cheerios, watching her on Saturday mornings on CMT Country Countdown, and only dreamed that I could at least, be like her one day. But to now be able to have her in my corner and have her, not only as somebody who helps me and works for me and all that kind of stuff, but as a friend and a mentor, she has taught me so much about what it means to be a woman in this industry and just the journey of her career, and has given me little tidbits of information, not because she had to, but just because she wanted to. And that's not something that I take for granted.
Yeah, she is definitely a wonderful person, and I've never got to see her in person, but my father is supposed to see her. I believe it's later on this month in Pennsylvania. I believe is where she's going to be. So
Oh,
I think he may be able to get a meet and greet. And I said, hey, while you're there, make sure you see if she can get her on my podcast. But
that's
she
right.
but she mentors you in such a way, and I know that you kind of pass off the same whenever you can, and I know that you even wrote a song with Elana Moore that just came out called "Fuels My Fire," correct?
Yes, I did. And I appreciate you always, supporting us and sharing that song for all your followers too.
Yeah, definitely. So, hopefully she's going to be on the podcast as well. We're working that out, but it's just great to see, everybody, supporting everybody. So, still got half a year left. I mean, you've already accomplished so much in this first half. What should we expect from PKJ and the rest of the year?
A lot of stuff. We haven't really announced it yet, so an exclusive for Hank Jr. and Hank's Corner, but we have a music video for Famous Enough that Pam worked with me on, and it will be coming out later this month. And it's just a really special, what Pam and I call a very Mayberry video. It's a nice, just down home feeling, Cracker Barrel-esque video, if you will. And we had a lot of fun with it. So a music video coming for it. as well as a couple of different other visual pieces for other songs on the album that mean a lot to me, and I'm grateful to have on there as well too. And then once we get into fall and all that kind of stuff, we have not only AgStar, the talent search throughout North Carolina, but a lot of festivals for myself. And in conjunction with the Department of Agriculture, we have our state fair that comes in October every single year, which we're excited about. And a whole lot of life stuff too. And so it's constantly a balance and trying to find the time and soak in those moments that I get, and keep reminding myself that I'm grateful and that not everybody gets to have as cool of a job as I do.
Yeah. And that's awesome. So everybody just, be on the lookout for that video that's coming out, be on the lookout for the talent competition and the festivals that you said. There's just so much going on with Paige King Johnson. But you can find all that information on her social media. She's very active in that. You can also find her on PaigeKingJohnson.com. And Paige, thanks so much for coming back on my podcast. You're always a wonderful guest to talk to.
Thank you for having me. I love getting to come back, and I'm glad I could be your first repeat customer here.
Well, anytime you want to come on, you're more than welcome to.
Well, thank you.
Friday, tries to be like everybody, but she